Okay, here we are back on the Pinterest homepage, your Pinterest homepage, and we're going to kind of go through sort of how to use Pinterest and navigate around and that sort of stuff. So I know that this is probably not new information for some of you, but for some of you it is new, so I'm hoping that it is helpful to some, or hopefully lots of you. So this is your Pinterest profile page, and it will show you how many boards that you have, how many pins are on those boards, how many likes you've gotten. Likes aren't really very common. Most people don't like. They just repin or sometimes they comment. How many followers you have and how many people you are personally following. And then you can see your board, all your boards here. And you want a wide variety of boards, even if you are just pinning in the hopes of getting unique sales, you still want other boards. So come up with some other things that you're interested in. Here's my examples, books, gifts, like tricks for home. I love bags, holidays, so there's all sorts of different boards. I'm just in the process actually right now of kind of redoing some of my boards. I used to just have the name here, just normal, but I decided to make it look a little cuter with the little brackets, but I'm not all the way done. As you can see, these ones down at the bottom are not different, or aren't the new style, whatever you want to call it. As you scroll towards the bottom, of course, I'm a little OCD, and so my boards are in alphabetical order, with the exception of my first board, My Favorite Things, because that is my main board where all the followers are. Like that board has 3.6 million followers, where my book board has 32,000. So anything that I'm pinning that I want to get a lot of repins on, or that if I'm hoping to sell a unique product or something of that nature, it goes on My Favorite Things board. So I keep that board first, and then otherwise we're in alphabetical order. And then as you get towards the bottom, these boards that have the two little people in the corners, these are group boards that I have been invited to pin to. And that just means that there are multiple pinners pinning to this board. So Hello Society is the company that I have a contract with for pinning out of Santa Monica, California. And as you can see here, there are 13,000 followers, and there are, 26, maybe 30 different pinners that add pins to this board. Now, why would that be beneficial? Since there are 13,000 people that follow this board, if I added a pin to the board, then there's a chance that someone's going to see it and like it who's not already following me, and they may end up following either one of my boards or all of my boards. You just never know who's seeing your pins. So I wouldn't spend the majority of my time on these group boards, but they can also be very helpful. For example, this one, Let's Get Gorgeous, I believe was organized by a unique representative. So there are, I'm not sure, it says there's 32,000 followers, but there's only 7 pins, and I think those are all mine. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with that one. So anyway, and then down at the bottom here are secret boards. If you create a secret board, you are the only one who can see what's on that board, unless you choose to add someone else to that would be able to pin to it. So, for example, this one, Things to Do in Bend, this was created by a good friend of mine, a fellow presenter. We have family in the Bend, Oregon area, and so she just created this board for stuff to do there. I think she made it secret because most people probably aren't that interested in things to do to Bend. So she just added me because sometimes we're down there together. And now my other secret board is unique. So if I see something on Pinterest that I find interesting, then I usually pin it to my secret board so I can go back to it later and tweak it and add my link and all that sort of stuff before I pin it to my favorite things board. So this is just a place where I kind of store any unique ideas or pins that I think might be helpful for me, but I'm not necessarily ready to pin right when I find them. So you can have as many secret boards as you want. So when you go back here to your, click on your name, that takes you to your home page. If you are ready to create a board, you just click on create a board. You can call it whatever you like. I can just call it mascara. What's your board all about? The best mascara on the planet. I mean, I'm not going to keep this board. It's just showing how you can create one. Hair and beauty would probably be the best. Do you want to add a map? No, I don't need a map. Do I need to make a secret? No. Who can add pins? If you want to add other people to the board, you can. That's absolutely not required. Then you just create your board. And then if you went back to your home page, you'll see that that board can now be found at the very bottom. So if I pin something to that board, then that'll become the cover photo for the board, and then you can go on and on from there. So that's how you would create a new board. Now, if I want to, let's say, we're on this board here that has no pins yet, and we've all seen the pin it button on different websites. To be 100% honest, I don't know if, I'm going to go to the unique site and see if we have a pin it button. I've never paid that close of attention, to be honest. So let's check out the lip stain. It does. So you can pin directly from your unique website. Decide what photo you like the best. Now they're not all necessarily going to be what, I was on lip stain, and that's where I clicked. But as you can see down here, we're looking at Uplift. Here's Melanie and Mukhtar talking about Uplift. There's some of the collections. But as you notice, like with these collections, it says stiff upper lip lip stain from Denise Upsall. So it is pulling my information. So let's say we just want to pin this one. So you just have to click pin it. Pick which board you want to pin it to. So we'll pin it to the new mascara board. Then you always want to say see it now, or I do, because I want to make sure everything looks right. So I see the stain, or the picture is there, and that's great. But if you go into edit, you can see all that's in the description is stiff upper lip stain. So you may want to add some more description there. But the source, which means, I'll show you what that means in a second. The source needs to direct people to your website. And as you can see, pinning from my unique website directs them back to my unique website. So once everything looks good here, you can save changes. And then if you were just back on the mascara board, and so someone sees this on Pinterest, and they click on it, and click on it again, it's going to take them to my personal unique website, and hopefully a little click on add to cart, and then all of a sudden you have a sale. So now another option, let's go back to our mascara board, is to create your own pin. I do this quite a bit because otherwise, I believe it's 90 to 95% of the content on Pinterest is just repinned content. It's not original, nor does it have to be, but it is a good idea to maybe come up with your own sometimes. So for example here, so you can decide where you want to, if you're going to add a pin, you can pin it from a website if you have a URL, or from your device. So if you've saved an image to your computer, you can choose that image. Now this is an image that I created for Pinterest. So now I try to do better descriptions than this, and we will talk more about that later, but just for the sake of time right now, this is how I'm going to do it. So you want to see it now, and you want to edit, because right now sort, there's nothing under source, which means if someone sees that pin, clicks on it, all it's going to do is enlarge that photo, and it's not going to take them to your website. So that's not going to do you any good. So you're going to go ahead and put in your website. You can leave it at just the website with your, oh, it's not Denise Epps, although it's Denise Marie. Leave it, oh my goodness, you think I could spell my name today? You can leave it there, or if you want to be more specific, if you want to take them to a certain part of your website, so you go into shop, the product landing page, if you want to get them there, if you want to get them to the mascara, whatever page you want them to land on, go there on your website, copy that, put that in the source box, and save. And then now if someone sees that pin and clicks on it twice, there you go, it takes them right to your 3D Fiber Lashes sale page. So you can send them, you know, wherever you want. If you want them to be sent to see what the kudos is for the month, you can do that. If you want them to see collections, you can do that. Whatever you want. Okay, so that is how to create a board and a pin. Now some of the other tips for creating pins is you want to be helpful. You don't want to just say, you know, in your description, great makeup. That's not really very helpful for people. So you want to have a detailed description. You want to use keywords and search terms that are going to help. You know, you can have mascara in there, 3D mascara, natural makeup, makeup. You want to use a lot of different words, kind of play around and see what you get the best result with, but you want your description to be helpful. Another thing that can be very helpful on Pinterest is, let's go back to that other pin, the one that I made myself. I'm not sure why they're not showing up here. Oh, they're there. So this one. Let's look at this one. Let's see if we can make this page smaller so you can see it all at once. There we go. Well, no, that's just tiny. The computer likes to play tricks on me sometimes, I tell you. Okay, so we'll just stay here. So text overlay is great on Pinterest. So you've got your picture. I'm sure many of you have seen this picture of this beautiful gal with the lashes and the mascara, but it doesn't say anything on it. So I did some text overlay, just calling it Magic Mascara and pointing to her eye. And so that kind of tells people what is going on in that pin. Like what are they looking at? And then down here I have another small picture of the new products, and it says and more. Because shots that have multiple products in them It shows the customer that there's more than one thing out there, and that there's a lot to see if they were to go onto your website. So you really want to reel them in, and sometimes the mascara isn't going to do it. But if they see those other products, especially since they're kind of small, that might get them interested enough to click all the way through to your website. And if you can get them on your website, obviously that's a really good thing. In your description, you don't want to just come right out and say, buy it now, click now. That can definitely hurt you. Just like we'd say, don't say join me, and don't say, buy here. We don't want to be cheap, sleazy salesmen. So you want a softer call to action that's going to give them, a value to click through to your website. So, click here to see more amazing makeup. Obviously, when they get there, they're going to figure out that they can buy it if they want. So they don't need you to say, buy it now, and have your link blasted on there. Pinterest is a vertically oriented interface. So these vertical pins, like this one that I did, is much more appealing to the eye and much more, it just goes much better with Pinterest's interface than, say, a square pin. So these are going to draw the eye in more than a smaller square pin. So the aspect ratio that's best for Pinterest is either 2:3 or 1:3.5. Those are the aspects that you're looking for. And so that would be like 2 inches wide by 3 inches tall, and then any form of that, wherever you use to create your pins. I do everything in Publisher usually, and then I email it to myself, and I add text using A Beautiful Mess. Some people I know use PicMonkey. Whatever program you are the most comfortable with as far as creating images with text and all that is great. But you want to try to stick to those those aspect ratios. It's either 2:3, 1:3.5 are the recommended ratios for Pinterest. Branding. So you want to be very tasteful when you incorporate your brand into rich pins. You don't want to be real loud with your branding. You don't want to have the unique logo everywhere. You don't want it to look like a big banner ad. But it's not a bad idea to have something on there that says unique. This pen, for example, it says unique on the mascara. And for me, that's enough branding. It lets them know what it is if they're interested. But I don't need to have unique plastered across her forehead or anything of that nature. So that is a little bit more about boards and pins. And I am going to come back in my next video and talk a little bit about the, I think more about the access of the business account part of Pinterest. So hopefully these are helpful, and I will be back after a really large glass of water. Thanks!